Okay, so right about the time when Venus was still a planet and it wasn't under any of the sulfuric acid that we know it to be nowadays. The idea is that when Venus was evolving as a planet and it formed a long time ago, billions of years ago, right around the same time when Earth was formed, it's very possible that because the planets both share a very similar connection, it's very possible that the evolutionary line of its inhabitants before it was wiped out by sulfuric acid and the rise of crazy temperatures. See, the thing is, Venus, it was like a normal planet, but there was something huge that collided with it. They'd say it's another planet, kind of like, our moon crashed into Earth. It was called Theia, another planet. Who knows how many planets there were? Could have been because of Jupiter. Jupiter had, a bad habit of, forcing things out of the asteroid belts and all that, and maybe that's exactly what happened to Venus, It's possible. Well, the idea is this. Okay, it might just be a theory, but at the same time, though, it's like the more you really, if you can talk to a scientist and they can say, yeah, there's probably life on its planet, in this case Venus. If Venus looked just like Earth, and you can have what is known as xenophilies or extremophilies, or something like that, the bacteria that can survive all these, really harsh temperatures. For example, you would even essentially say that there's life on other planets too, even like Pluto, and all the and even the New Horizon that keeps discovering all these new planets. It's very possible that even those planets could have life on them, despite the fact that the further out you go, the colder it gets. Pluto's got what is it, negative 360 degrees Fahrenheit? Keyword negative. But that's crazy. I mean, it makes sense, but you get the idea. But temperatures that freeze living organisms, but yet these bacteria can still live in it. So in Venus's case, it would be 864 degrees Fahrenheit, and yet that DNA, those acidophilies could survive. Now, it's very possible that the bacteria that probably lives on Venus could be the same kind of bacteria that we evolved from on planet Earth. So if that's the case, even though Venus would have a different evolutionary standpoint than Earth did, it's very possible that, depending on how old the life cycle was, and depending on how old the evolution was on its planet, it's very possible that maybe there were human-like entities on Venus over the time. All we'd have to do is find some fossils. I'm sure there's something in the core, maybe not necessarily, because you gotta understand, every year goes by, a planet adds more and more to its layers. So, for when we found all the fossils of, the dinosaurs, they're in the Earth's surface, the Earth's core. I don't know how deep down, but they're there nonetheless. And so it's as time goes on, erosions push it up, and eventually it finds its way to the surface. Maybe Venus has fossils in its core somewhere. We just got to go there and start digging, but, anything's possible. But I am convinced that if we do find fossils, they will be very similar to that of what we know of here on Earth. And essentially what that tells me is three things. One, there's life out there on other planets, which I already believe. Two, humans could essentially possibly say that maybe we're not just from Earth. Or three, we would be one step closer to understanding, the origins of life.